engaged in the conversation. But I don't know why I've never got into it. I mean, I am quite a spiritual person, and I do try to keep myself, fit. It's a bit more difficult these days, with two kids. But when I was younger, I'd always go out for a run every now and again. I'd regularly go to the gym and stuff. So I don't know why it's never been something that I've never taken time to, I suppose, really get to understand. Because, at the end of the day, it's probably, given my spiritual nature that I have, I think, and the mental well-being side of things, because I'm quite a placid, kind of laid-back person, so it sounds as if it would be something that would, fit with my own mentality, but it's strange that I never got into it. Strange.
I think, do you know what it is? I think it's the context that it's done in. Like it's mostly a female activity, to be honest. Like I remember teaching, and I would have occasionally two or three guys in my class, and it would be like, and that would be because my energy, like you can see even here in the group, I'm very comfortable around male energy, and my energy is quite neutral from that perspective. But it tends to be, there tend to be a lot of teachers that are very sunshine and light, overly feminine, overly, we're here to heal, but what if I don't have to heal? What if I'm here to just be, to discover, to explore? It's I think that part of yoga is being, how can I say, that's the commercial side of yoga, and also there's a dogmatic side of yoga. You have studios selling this or that style, and sometimes it's very restrictive. It can be very restrictive, and for people who are truly spiritual, I don't believe that like spirituality comes with a freedom of belief. You can't just tell me there's only one way to the universe. You can't tell me that. I know there's more than that.
I think it's also how, in Hollywood and everything, every time you see something on TV, whether it's on Netflix or whether it's a film or anything, and you see like a yoga class, or it's kind of feminized, and
Yes.
At the same time, it's also kind of probably the wrong word, but hippified as well. It's something that you would find some hippies doing, or a bunch of ladies that are on. They've not got the kids for the day, so they're going to go out and go class, and then they're going to get their nails done or something. It's
Yes.
Probably how Hollywood kind of conceptualized it to everybody.
Oh, absolutely. I remember I did when we closed the yoga business to go into trading full time. I still love teaching yoga, and I was like, I was in doubt whether to start to, having my own class and managing it, and having the people, because I love teaching it. I love sharing that knowledge. And I did like a yoga tour of the studios in Dublin, and they're not all of them, but most of them had that, going in and that going out. There was literally no change between the state of mind and the atmosphere of the group atmosphere. I'm pretty sure on a personal level there was that, but the space they were holding did not allow for that. Like a yoga class moves something in you. It makes you see something. It makes you know something. Makes you connect to something. And after that, you generally tend to have to go into a state of stillness and silence, and reflect on it for even half an hour. It doesn't have to be a long reflection, but you take that in your life. You take that on in your life, and you start using it. That's why you do a yoga class, to connect deeper to yourself. And I realized that it wouldn't be very commercial if it were that space of silence, and people moved away from the Lululemon gear and doing their nails, or it being a social thing, or a fashionable thing, or sometimes even what hurts me the most is it's one for the elites. Like you have, I wish yoga were accessible in school, and I wish yoga studios had the same pricing as gyms. It wouldn't be an exclusive thing, a thing that you have to pay hundreds sometimes for to do a month.
I mean, it's mad that that's the way that it's gone. Given that I believe did it come from somewhere around sort of India or that sort of part of Asia, and
Yes,
is it? I don't know if it's Buddhists or some kind of
it's both.
sort of religious background to it.
It's yoga's a practice in itself, and it's
Or
associated
is
to
it?
both religions. Both Hindu and Buddhists do it, and I think Taoists do it as well. And it was Shinto, the Japanese religion. But yoga is a practice in itself. It's not a religion.
I think my point is that it's accessible to anybody. And back then it was just about, I suppose, freeing your mind and connecting with yourself, and all of a sudden it's become like a commercial kind of commodity.
Yes.
Where like you say, it's become either elitist or it's something that the ladies do when they're not got the kids.
Yeah.
Right. Strange.
Yeah. And sometimes yeah. I've experienced myself, when the practice takes you deep enough for you to start looking at your life. That's happened to me, and you start realizing certain values that you hold inherently, innately, are not in line with how you live your life, and that's when you start looking at how you can adjust and adapt and change the course of your life to facilitate those values, because they are part of your core values. They're part of you. They're part of your identity. And I think that's when a lot of people might pull back from yoga, because it gets them to see they don't want to be married anymore, or they don't want to have that job anymore they've had for 30 years, and it might lead to a life crisis, and you look back and you wonder why is that? So you're like, it was the yoga.
The thing is that you get one chance at life. You only get one chance, so why would you not try your best to live it to its most potential? And if it gives you that realization, that something's not quite right, that can't surely be a bad thing. And surely as a person, you're kind of committing yourself to a life that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
Then that's not good for anybody. Whether
No.
it's yourself or whether it's the people that are around you.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the truth, Lee, is that there are very few people that are questioning that very state. How, not necessarily, I won't call it happiness, because happiness is, we can be in that state or not, but contentment. We can be content without being either happy or sad. We can just be content because we are who we are. And there are very few people questioning their contentment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people label money as making everybody happy, but people with $1,000 in the bank can be just as content as somebody with $5 million in the bank. I don't think that it's money's a thing. I don't think that materialistic things are the thing that make you happy. I don't think it's necessarily the most beautiful man or the most amazing woman on your arm that makes it. It makes you content. I think it's just your general life around you, and the people that you meet and the people that you find the right energy with. It's not about, the materialistic things. It's about, genuine people, family, friends around you and yourself that you find they're on the right wavelength and you can connect with. And that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, that's the shared experience. That's the connection. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. That's it. I think that's why we were talking once, and that's why Roy and I love sharing this. It takes, just like the yoga, it takes putting together a community of people that actually want this. It's not pump boys that think one trading strategy works across the board and you can learn trading in 3 hours, because it's not like that. we've been there. We've tried that.
No,
We got burned because of that, you know.
I think I asked Roy, like, 3 or 4 months ago, and I said to yourself, like, I know that you don't have to do this. I think I've asked Roy before, why he does it, because clearly you make a lot more money from, your trades and whatnot that you do than what you probably do from the group. And, I think it's, it's really great that, you both yourself and Roy get a lot from, teaching this, and that it's not just about your own personal wealth. It's about actually, do you know what? I get probably just as much, if not more, by passing this knowledge on.
Absolutely. I absolutely. Do you know, there's a certain, when like, even from the technical perspective, there's a certain, you get very slack with your trades. You see this going somewhere. You start managing your position, and you do it quite well. You do it so well that your losses are way less than you're making. But then there's there's always a next stage. Where's that next stage? And then you realize, well, the next stage is, first of all, trading a more challenging stage in the market, which is where we are right now, because there's a lot of volatility. And then second, it's actually sharing it with other people that makes you be very sharp, very much on the ball. Like, I get a lot from, for instance, the weekly trade setups that I do with you. I get so much out of it because they just crystallize the space that we're in for the week so well. To be honest, if I weren't doing this, I would just be looking at the trade in the morning, at the London session, monitoring it at the New York session, and that's it. And then I take my profit when I'm happy with it, which just drives Roy mad, because he's like, no, you have to wait for this. And I'm like, no, I'm very happy with 50%. Thank you very much. And, I go to bed very content, and that's it. But with you, I have to, really, really tighten up and be super sharp, and then put myself in your shoes. What would you need to manage your position? Where would you need to be careful about? Because again, that ease of managing the position and managing your risk is the new bit. So it's very this place makes it very exciting for me, and for Roy as well.
Great stuff.
Rather than just, rinse, repeat. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with Bitcoin, because Ethereum is now doing its own thing. Have I started recording now? I'm starting recording now. So Ethereum's been doing its own thing. It did a massive lift at the weekend. It did 11% into 5-minute candles. So you can just imagine the space that Ethereum is moving in right now. It's got a lot of pump energy underneath it. So I'm starting with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the more moderate of the three that I'm looking at. XRP was in the middle. Bitcoin was at the lower end of the lift. Now, Bitcoin moved very precisely in this ascending wedge. This ascending wedge, to me, seems complete in terms of swings. 1, 2, 3. I had this line a little bit lower, but then I thought I should lift it up a little bit higher. However, I keep it a little bit lower or a little bit higher. This seems complete. It's done. The swings are complete. We are ready for breakout. And by the looks of it, we seem to have broken out here, and we're back testing now on the 1 hour. I am in my short. I managed to DCA all through this. I promised myself I won't get into a trade on Thursday or late Thursday or Friday, but I was on a winning high last week. So I was like, I got this. I think was around here. I think it was around here. Yes, it was the midline. That I thought, look at this beautiful triple top. I'm going in shorting. Then I had to DCA. But anyways, we seem to be breaking out of this channel, and we are back testing it now. This is a glorious lift. And when I do the moving averages on the day, I'll show you that the sentiment has changed. We are above the 20 on the daily, which means technically that we are favoring a lift. I am still very cautious about this. In order for this lift to be sustainable, we need to make a correction. Now, this correction can be done quite fast, or this correction can be done slowly. If a correction is done slowly, you will see the MAs on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour turn very slowly into a descending position, so they would keep spilling. If a correction is done fast, then there's less impact on the MAs and they still stay in pump mode. So that's why I'm actually happy for this slow trend that we had today, this descending trend down, because it's managed to turn some MAs. So my technical target for this channel, to start with the simple things that are to be, how can I say, measured. So the measured technical target for this channel is 20,500, 20,600. But I've got my target at 20,800, which is a little bit above the 0.5. And that is backed up by two things. First, I've noticed, of course, corrections tend to be more shallow when, let me be a little, yes. So 0.5 is 20,700. I've noticed corrections tend to be more shallow in uptrends for all coins, not just Bitcoin. And also, this would help us keep the 20 on the 20 MA on the day, and we could still keep going up, which is sort of like the idea that I have in mind. But again, I will trade what I have in front of me, the structure that I have in front of me at the start of the session, unless I have a bigger pattern to follow. So what I'm so that would be my target. Now, if I see a little bit of a retrace here around the 382, but not too much, the sort of like bear flag retrace, rather than a sudden lift challenging, the 20 or the 50, wherever that might be, whatever MA that might be around when it gets to the 382. If I see a retrace here that's sudden, then I will probably take my profit. But if I see like little candles, a bit like what happened here, consolidation, basically consolidation in this bill, I will let it run to the 0.5. The stochastic on the 1 hour has bottomed out, but it can stay there for a while. And I think the regular RSI needs to come to the bottom. So we need to reset if we are to continue. We need to have that reset in at least the 1 hour momentum on Bitcoin. At the moment, we are challenging the 55 EMA on the 1 hour. That's what's holding us. And I believe we are, no, not yet about XRP is below the 20 on the 4 hour. I wish we had come closer to the 20 on the 4 hour, but it is what it is. Look at the size of this 4 hour candle, massive red engulfing candle, and the stochastic on the 4 hour has crossed for the down. This was to be expected because we have been in a stochastic bearish divergence. So again, you can see how different sometimes the stochastic and the regular RSIs are in such moments of very high volatility. The 4 hour just started. I think you guys know about my superstition. We started bullish, we're going to end bearish, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe by the time we're done with our session, it's already red. Now, that would be the trade, the first trade of the week, which is a short. And if you shorted from here, or even if here, you'd be at your entry point if you haven't DCA'd. I would be looking again for this line to be broken. That would be the first stage of the short was from the top line to the bottom line of the channel. I had my entry point 20,000 here. And now the second part of the short is staying below it and going for the technical target. Now this is the short story. I'll give you the long story now. It is a story of wonder. I wonder, what is this swing about? This swing to me looks like the breakout from the 1 hour arc. Now the breakout from the 1 hour arc might be mountain peak on the 4 hour. Do I have, yes, this is the 4 hour arc. I will put the triangle on. So this is where I was looking with Roy at different pattern anatomies and levels and you know, where could this go, where you know, where are we? Because of all this sideways movement, it's now technically the arc has a simple rule: 2 waves up, 2 waves down, 1 wave up, 1 wave down, 1 wave up, 1 wave down. Now, the 4 hour arc seems, let me just change it to the blue. I'm pretty sure this is not the right blue shade, but I'll change it later. So the 4 hour mountain peak would need to come up to somewhere around here, and all of these here to me seem like double top, except it's like a quadruple top on the 4 hour, or a triple top. So if these are double top, this is 1, 2, this is it. This is first drop here. Now we might be coming up for mountain peak, in which case this would be part of a bigger swing. Something along, okay, come on, okay, something along these lines, there and there. And here again a little bit of consolidation in the form of a correction, and then a lift up to here, because this would be this would generally be the level for mountain peak. So this is resistance peak, mountain peak. Sometimes it comes as close to the resistance peak, but given the daily channel that we're in for Bitcoin, given the daily channel that we're in for Bitcoin, so this is the huge channel for Bitcoin. Given the space that it's been moving in, again, once we keep to the channel and we retrace in the channel, and again, that's why I have the target of 20,800, because that will allow for that retrace on the 55 on the 4 hour, and again holding this line, because we've tried to stay in this channel with the past swing and we couldn't, and now we're in it and we seem to be going strong, but it's the momentum, that the pace that it's going at is not sustainable. So my point is, I will put that in, factor that in when we do the trade setups. My point is that if we hold the 55 on the 4 hour, and if we hold this channel line, chances are we're going up for a nice 23 and then 27 27 level pump. Beautiful pump, amazing pump. But the big if is holding support, holding the 55 and holding this line. If we break that 20,400, this line here, if we break that, we are back in the 4-hour arc. And here is where my wonder gets more wondrous. And I'm like, what is going on? Because if not these here, but all of these here, let me remove this and draw this again. If all of these here are in fact double top, not in shape, but in energy, if these are all double top and we haven't had mountain peak, we might be coming for first drop. And maybe first drop is the double bottom that we waited for. That would be a natural first drop, as most arcs go back to the base. Not the ascending ones, but most of them. So as we start the week with the space that we're moving in, I think we've moved out of the 1-hour arc into the space of the 4-hour arc. I will still do the trade setup on the 1-hour arc because it's where we'll be taking our signals and where we'll be checking in. But I believe right now we've gained trendline support on the 4-hour and on the daily. To me, this is the most. Again, I don't like bullish and bearish, but I'll use them because I don't have any other. Well, I can say positive, price positive signal. The fact that we've gained support above this line, and this is the channel from the all-time high of 68,000. So it's super relevant. If we lose that, if the momentum keeps going and the 4-hour is already red, if the momentum keeps going and the 20 comes down, crosses down over the 55 on the 4-hour and we lose this line, I think, again, 19 is a very conservative, 19 is right here, is a very conservative target, and if that breaks 17, again, 18 or 17, 700, somewhere around there. We can put I'll put another fib on this just to check. Yeah, so the 1618 is 16,800. Now, I want to do something with you before I move on to having a look at the MAs. I have, where's my picture of the Wyckoff? It's in, should be here. There, perfect. So this is my picture of the Wyckoff accumulation phase. If we are going up, again, I keep comparing it and thinking, okay, maybe we have bottomed out. I don't believe we have bottomed out. To me, there is another drop down. But if we have bottomed out, if this is first level, second level, third level, what do we need to, where do we need to be? To me, there are some things here that don't make sense, because the Wyckoff accumulation works by accumulating orders, accumulating liquidity. So we would have a lower low, which we haven't had from the drop, and we would have first a higher high, then a lower high, and then the breakout higher high. So we had a higher high, but we keep going with a higher high, but we still haven't had a lower low. So in terms of the swings, we haven't had that spring, that spring, what they call like a stop loss hunt slash spring liquidity run or whatever. I think we need to have that lower low before going up. That's what how can I say, intuitively, and again, based on my experience, think we're gonna need. And if we look at previous patterns, look at here again. I have been watching the swings in the Wyckoff, both distribution and accumulation, for XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum for a while, and I know they all play out differently, but they happen but they happen to collect liquidity. So a higher high and then a lower high are necessary, because the lower high keeps the longs trapped and then releases liquidity by liquidating them on the way down. So all of these people going in this long wanted to take profit here, but it was lower, like it happened here. So you get a higher high, people set their orders, okay, we're gonna go there, and you take it close, you as in the market maker, you bring it close to that level, and then you reverse it back, and you release liquidity by liquidating those longs, taking their profits back. So that's the market works like that. Same for this lower low. So again, people looked at, okay, we made a low, a higher low, another higher low, great, we're keeping support, triple bottom, we're going up, they go up, okay, if they pay themselves here, happy days. If they don't, it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down, and it will hit their stop losses if their stop losses or their liquidations are there. So that's how these patterns work. This accumulation schematic works. We haven't had a lower low. Again, we might go up at times without that lower low, but in bigger accumulations, I think we need it. Now I will be looking at another one here. Do you know what? I'll be looking at these. I'll look at two other. I'll look at this one here, because again it's the start of this run, and then I'll look at this one here because it's at the base of this consolidation. So here again, they're patterns within patterns. You can find them anywhere. Even a 1 minute transition between two swings will have an accumulation pattern at the bottom or a distribution pattern at the top. So you have a nice double bottom here, you have a lower low, you have a high, you have a higher high, you have a lower high that keeps the highs engaged, and then you have the liftoff. Another one here. This one had fewer highs, but it had the low, the lower low, the higher low. And the one that I don't wanna keep you too much and repeat the same thing, but again, I want you to see that why I am so we need that. So we had a low, we had a lower low, we had another lower low, we had a higher low, we had a lower low, we had two lower lows here, and then we had the high, we had the lower high that kept them engaged, and the back tested, then we had a higher high, then we had consolidation here, and then we had liftoff. So I keep looking at where we are right now, and it looks great. Like it looks amazing for a lift in terms of how can I say, the positivity of this. Like we had a low, we had a higher low, we had a higher low. Happy days. We're holding the 20 on the day, so technically I can't tell you we're gonna come down and make a lower low. I can't say that because we haven't yet broken the major support on the daily. When we do that though, I'll be all about the lower low, just so that you guys know what's coming. I am taking that into account. So that's where I think we are at the moment. Now, accidentally or not accidentally, the big daily line that I showed you on the daily channel is in confluence with the midline of the channel that we're in. This wedge, not a channel, it's more of a wedge. So if we break the midline, just like any channel and any wedge, if we break the midline, we're coming down for the bottom line, which is 19,800. And if this one breaks, it's the double bottom. So we will be planning the trades according to these levels, and we will be looking at levels up step by step. Now, just to make I'm slightly tweaking my strategy based on what Ethereum has been doing this weekend. So when we set levels, and let's say you're not watching it, or it's the weekend, I will suggest, and of course not financial advice, your call, putting in a small position as a limit order, because again, there's very high volatility in the bear market, and you wouldn't want to miss a big move of like Ethereum's, because you weren't watching it. I'm not watching the trades so closely at the weekend, especially on Fridays and Saturdays, and I kicked myself for not telling you, especially for the Ethereum, because it made such a nice move, and we had that plan, like we had that T8. It would have been great to have a small order in, going in. It was an 11%, 100%. You put in, I don't know, $10, $20, and you have a great limit order and a great trade executed without you actually doing too much in terms of monitoring. So when we get close to the weekend, when we have the levels going, and again we might have closer to the weekend a little bit more of a defined trend for the week, it would be good to have a small position trade prepared, so that you catch an explosive move like that. That's coming into the future. I think you are at that level where it's good to have that. It's good to have that. It's good to go in when you're monitoring the market and you're keeping a close eye on it. But then after a week of TAing and seeing where it's going, that potential move was there. And if any of you would have had that trade in, they would have made a nice profit. And but if you don't have it in, then the chance to go in on that and make profit is it's a very treacherous trade to make, because it went up in 5 minutes, and then I think it retraced quite like 30% of the move, and it's a very violent move. So you have to be prepared to be there fully and trade it as is. And you might not, because it's the weekend. But anyways, I'll draw your attention towards maybe using more limit orders, especially as the breakout space sort of like starts being more mapped out, because we are compressing here, and yeah, it would be, for instance, if I have the chance to take my profit from my trade at 20,800 tonight, I will put well, I will leave 25% in, and then I'll put another DCA limit order in at 20,400 to follow it down to 20,000. And here again, if it breaks the previous lower low here at 18,400, I'll DCA in. I use my limit orders to DCA in, and I leave a little bit of a chaser just to follow it down. But yeah, that was my mental note in terms of strategy to tell you guys. To have, you know, at the weekend, have a cheeky small position limit order. You can use a stop loss if you want as well for it, so that you're more calm about it. You know, it would be good.
And what kind of space do you leave? So if we were to break out of a channel, you get false breakouts, right? So it could break out and come back down. Like, if you just take the example of the last lift.
Yes.
So like, what space are you using for your limit orders for the upside breakout?
I would be putting 50% in as a space.
Okay.
Neil, because I know that the breakout would compensate for that. So I know I'd make the money back if it goes the other way around. So that would be my space. But that I would start. So if I were, let's say, my full position would be, let's say, I don't know, $250. For an order like that, I would be using only $100. Only $100, and I would put a 50% stop loss on it, so that I don't risk losing a part of my gains in that order. So that order is my, let's say, bonus order for trading this week, rather than, because we make profit on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We don't want to lose it at the weekend, but we also, I think now with the volatility, I wouldn't want you to lose or miss out on a move like that. If you minimize the position, you can add to your gains, and if it does like a fake out, I rarely have seen fake outs more than 50%. But if it does do that, you're only losing 50% of 2/5 of the position. So 50% of 2/5, it's 1/5 of the position. So the risk reward would pay off. So you would be making 4/5, like 100% if it goes to the target like ETH went, or you could be losing 1/5. So 4/5, 1/5. The risk is 1 to 4. In trading, generally we say that it's any ratio above 1 to 3 is a good risk reward ratio, technically. If we have, again, if that space, for instance here, if I am to go into the weekend and we've been playing in this space, I would be putting, that's actually a great question, Neil. I would be putting a limit order here. Do you know what? Actually, above the previous high, I would be putting a limit order in here. And the profit to the next level would be 11%. So again, I wouldn't jump on DCAing unless I am watching it. But if it does that violent, two candles in 10 minutes, I probably, especially if you're out, you might not even have your phone around. So I'll put it here, put a stop loss of 50% down to here. Do you know what? For this space, I would actually put it, if I'm longing this going to 25K, if I'm longing this, I would put it even tighter. I would put it a little bit below this, because I know that if it breaks out and then retraces back into this super long, more than a month long wedge, it's going to come down. So I would put the stop loss really tight because of where we're going. But if, let's say, we are here, if I'm longing at the weekend, if I'm longing from here, then yes, I see it holding support here, and I say, okay, I'll put an order. I'll put an order here because I know that, I don't know, it's gonna, if it gets here, it's gonna take off upwards. Here again, I would put a really tight stop loss, because I know that if it breaks this line, it's gonna come down. And if I take that loss, I take that loss. But it's a small price to pay for the gain. If you guys, of course, if you guys feel comfortable doing that, but it's all like, you will be comfortable doing it and trying it as a strategy if you put less money in. The more you manage your position, the more you have the confidence to play the strategy, because emotions won't take over. Like, you can't risk losing your gains when the breakout goes the other way around. You will have to put a stop loss. I use a generous stop loss when putting limit orders for breakouts like this. And again, you will get a notification from Bybit when your order gets in, so you can start watching it there. But does that make sense? Because I don't want to waffle too much.
No, that makes sense. I was just asking because I saw that move on the weekend, but it was too late. 50% through the move, and once it's pumping, you don't know when it's going to retrace, right?
Yes, don't go. You did well to let it play out and do its thing, Neil. I wouldn't. Like, I've tried. I had moments when I was trying to catch breakouts like that, and it would coming in and out of trades like that, you would be paying the fees, and the retrace would be so violent that you don't really get too much out of it. So that's why a limit order in that case would have been the best risk reward strategy.
Yep, thank you.
You're very welcome. Especially since we had, like, look how I was laughing with Roy, because he was listening to Cheeky Crypto. They're an excellent YouTube channel, by the way. They do brilliant TA, and they also present Glassnode data very well. And I don't do Glassnode. Glassnode is where the liquidity and where the movement of the liquidity from the wallets and the exchanges is very visible. So I sometimes watch them for that as well. So what they're saying at the moment is basically the whales are not buying, which means that most likely the bottom is not in. And what they're saying is that this whole lift is a bull trap, and it will come down to a lower low or a double bottom. So one or the other. But at the moment, the whales are, according to how liquidity is moving, the whales are not buying. But they were talking about Ethereum going to 1510 or 1509, and Roy was asking me, did you say that Ethereum's going to go to 1510? And I said, no, I said 1530. And he said, Cheeky Crypto says 1509. I think you have to adjust your lines. And I said, no, it's 1530. And it came up today right here. And I was laughing. And I said, listen, I think we have to call Cheeky Crypto and ask him to adjust his lines. So anyways, the point is, Neil, we had the TA done. It tested it once. Again, a cheeky order here would have allowed to catch the move up to the next level, which was 1420. It would have been such an easy trade. But you know, I kicked myself, and as a teacher, I take responsibility. I stopped using these kind of orders in this period of volatility, and I would be, because my core is a pattern trader. I used to use exclusively limit orders for in and out. I only use more market orders now because of of how volatile the situation is, and I left them to the side, and I put them, you know, in a box, and I said, yeah, I'll take you out when we start trending again properly, so we know we have the bottom, we start, you know, either consolidating or going up. But right now we're in the middle of something. So, but I'm saying again, only for moments when you're not looking at it. And you have seen it play out. So at the start of the week, not so easy to use limit orders because the options are open. But at the weekend here, there were two options: either coming down, you know, being in a short, starting to short from here, which is what I did on Bitcoin, or if it breaks this, going up. So again, I think a sub account would allow you to do that. You don't need two accounts for that. Having an order here, if it breaks this line again, we're going for the next level of support and resistance, because that's exactly where it went. And jumping on it, no, it's madness. It's just madness. Okay, now let's have a look at the that was the sort of like training point that I wanted to tell you about. Before I start, maybe because it depends on how the situation is towards Friday and Saturday. So if I bring in a limit order, I want you guys to know where that is coming from, and why I'm bringing it in, because I've realized, you know, this is it. In this case, for instance, if we're gonna start coming down and correcting severely this swing, I will, and if we're getting, for instance, from to this line, I will be looking at putting for the equivalent for Bitcoin and XRP an order underneath it to the next line. So again, I want to share with you so that you know how I'm planning my trades. And if you feel comfortable with it, you can do it. If you don't, that's okay. And if you have any questions, you can ask at all times. The main point for this strategy is minimize your risk by reducing the position. It's the fruits of your labor, because you've been TAing and you've been watching it all week. So it would be a pity to miss that nice little pump or dump in this case. Okay, now, don't want to keep you too late. Let's have a look at the MAs on Bitcoin, and let's see where we are. Look at this. Fills my heart with joy seeing all this red. So here we are. Bitcoin is first step to breakthrough is the 20 on the 4 hour, and then we have the 50. What is this? This is the 100. Okay, so we have the 50 MA at 20,600. Again, I put my take profit at 20,800 because it's the 0.5 level. I don't want to be too precise because sometimes, you know, it can get too close, and I'd rather have that nice profit in the pocket by the end of the day. Other than that, on the 4 hour we have the 100 crossing the 200, which is generally it should be bullish if they're both going the same direction. So if we have like a like a golden cross, you know, a smaller MA crossing above a bigger MA, that tends to be a lift if they're both going the same way. The 200 is not. The 200 is flatlining at the moment. On the 1 day, again, it's the 20 20,400, which is that line in the channel that I showed you, which is the 20 MA. So we're holding it at the moment. It's looking great for the up at the moment, except for this huge wick. And all of these wicks here to me look very suspicious. However, lifts happen in various ways, so we need to take into account where we are and stay clear in the support that we're getting. We lose the 20,400. Again, maybe in my case, a cheeky DCA order after I've taken my profit, leaving a little bit in. I can DCA in here. It will, of course, pull my entry point down, but I don't mind because I will be following it down to 20,000. So again, it might be another 30–40% profit. And then again, I might leave a little bit in, maybe 20% rather than 25%. If it breaks this this wedge, this triangle wedge, because the target would be huge, 16,000. I am not the one. I'm not the one. Again, my TA says we are actually going for a 16,000 or even a 13,000. Why is this so wonky? Let me just remove this. Clone. Or even a, here it is, 13,000 level Bitcoin. I don't think that will be done in one go. I don't know. I honestly don't have a crystal ball for that, guys. That's why I'm trading ranges at the moment. But looking at the 1 day formation, this was the peak. We've come down one level, so we had level 1, we have level 2. We need a level 3, and proportionally level 3 would be 13,000 or 11,000. I will tell you when I think that's gonna happen, or we're on, on our way to get there. But that's the bigger picture. So, long story short, let's set up the trades for the space that we're in, and we're gonna use the 1 hour arc. And the first trade that we're gonna set up is our breakout trade, which is the trade that we're in. We are holding below the channel line, so that will be our first target. Now, the next target, if that level breaks, the next target would be the line here of the triangle. Now, this triangle is a little bit weird, so I will actually take the support and resistance of the midline of this. Let me just go back to the 15-minute. The midline is 20,800. So 20,800. Yes. Okay. The next one is 20,000. Okay. So where is this? 19,000. A little bit up high. So if that breaks, the next target down would be again here, 19,600. Okay, that would be the next target down, and that would be the next trade down to make. If that line breaks, then we are in a breakout scenario. I will conservatively put this one, and okay, so from I'll pull that aside. Okay, so from and down to here. Okay, I will separate this breakout into two stages because there might be a bear trap there. Again, everybody's waiting for the third. Not everybody. There are people waiting for the 13,000 or 11,000 Bitcoin. So we might be just coming down to a lower low, a little bit lower. Let's say. But my target would not be lower. My target would be the same. I think we're going for a lower low in strategy, but my target, I'll keep it around the previous low because I want to get my money. My TA is my TA. My take profit is a little bit more conservative and a little bit earlier. So just to recap, I would be trading to take my profits here, 20,800. Then I would be trading the next step down to about 19,600. Then I would be trading the next step down to 18,000. 18,000. If the 18,000 breaks, I will leave a little bit in for this and DCA on confirmation. So if this, again, DCA on confirmation, and this is uncharted territory, I would just put a DCA order at 16,900, let's say. I'll mark it with a little because I know that when that breaks, something big is coming. But I would have, now you would have to watch that. Uncharted territory needs to be watched. So limit orders go great if you have the space mapped out, but if you don't, anyways, here somewhere around here I would DCA because I've only started with 20%. I would DCA and get a little bit more oomph in the trade. So that would be, these would be the again, we're trading the 4 hour, taking the signals on the 1 hour. I want to say we're trading the 1 hour. These would be the limits. This would be the space that I'm watching. And they're very good trades in terms of percentages. So this only would be about 50. This would be about, again, 4.6. Let's say you get 3 out of it. Great. This would be a bigger one, 8. And this one is the juicy one. I think it's about 10%. 10%, yes. So between them, 5, 4, 8, 10, about 30%. Let's leave half of that on the table because of this part which is uncharted. We don't know where we're going, if we're going for a lower low. It would be a great profit to be made at 1.5x a week. It would be brilliant. Now, this is the downward scenario, but I'm not leaving out the upward scenario. So again, if we're holding the 20 on the daily, we are looking to move up. For the move up, of course, the more logical trade would be following it from the 20 on the daily. If we see support, let me just double check, 20,400. Okay, I'll put the entry at the same point because, let's say we gain a couple of hundreds in that support. So I will follow it up to here. Then of course I will use the same trend line. I recycle my trend lines because the trend line shows the trend. So Once it breaks, very good. Okay. Okay. Now I'll just be using it like that. Or not. Do you know what? I won't actually, because it's gonna make it messy. I'll just keep this sideways. So I'll just be trading from here to here. And then we have, on the way up, we have the juicier breakout, which again, it's within charted territory. So we don't have to, you know, babysit it so much, because it's, we know that if it's going to break out of this, it's going for the 25, at least the 25, if not higher. But again, it won't go there. It won't have a huge, just like this swing, it won't just go there up in a straight line. It will have to do a correction. So here we have from this 0.5, or holding the 20 on the daily, we would have one trade here and then one trade here. I don't see it personally going higher than that without a correction. Here we will have to reassess where we are and see if the next trade will be upwards or downwards. We'll have to see how the corrections are going to be made, because if there are smaller corrections like this swing on the way to 25, it'll probably keep going till 28. But a conservative target for this would be 25. I would still leave a little bit in for this, for 27. So that's the trade setup for Bitcoin. These are the spaces that I see it moving in. I need to just give me a second to see how this is going. If we have anything to worry about. Excellent. I'm happy I got to, we have a reversal vector here, and a huge stop volume. This is a stop volume, and it's a stop volume on an upswing, so that means there's no going back up. Do we have any? Yeah, we have a stop volume here on this hour. Let's see if we can get past here. We're at the psychological high at the moment. In case you're wondering what's holding it, we're at the psychological high. The psychological high is a level of resistance and support. So I think there will be some resistance between the psychological high, the M3, the psychological low, and the pivot point. This is where yesterday it actually went up. It couldn't break through. It went up. So there's a lot of resistance to get through, but it's coming from up here, so it should have the strength to come down. And since we are here on Traders Reality, I wanted to have a look at to see if there are any liquidity vectors that need to be recovered, because again, I know that the market makers can come for anything they pumped up on this side, they will get it back on this side by selling. So if they encouraged the longs by buying, because this is what they do, they encourage their longs by buying, and then they start selling on the other side. So here we have the last vector that we've recovered was this one here. Then we came down. The next one that we need to come down to, again, I don't know when, is the 16,000. 16,600. So this hasn't been recovered by the market makers in this cycle. There hasn't been a drop, and by recover I mean for every green vector on this side, we need to have a red vector on the other side. They don't always go super duper exact, though most of the times they're incredibly exact. For instance, this pump up here was completely recovered here. This pump here, look at this little pump here, sold here. Here again, from here, not this one, and this one. But these were probably recovering some other ones. This is together. Sold here, buy here. Sold here, buy here. They're all, how can I say, market makers moving liquidity both ways to move the market. So we would have a couple of red vectors here to recover this liquidity. And if we look on the daily, there are some vectors around. And I'll tell you what the next levels would be in terms of unrecovered liquidity. Stay here, okay? It would be 16,600, and then 14,000, and then 11,000. So I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say when that recovery will happen or how that will happen or if that will happen, but technically this is what they go for. So if there is another leg down, my estimation is around the 13,000/15,000 mark. I would be watching those levels, and I would be watching to see what sort of, again, we won't go there in a straight line. We will go there with a channel or a triangle or a wedge. There will be some consolidation to distribute that downwards. Okay, and now I'll go back to my daily setup here and ask you guys if you have any questions.
No, it's very comprehensive, that Mahela. Thank you.
Very welcome, Lee. Very welcome. I try not to speak too
I'm
much.
in it. No, that's all right. I'm. What did I get entry? 22,650. So.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm like with this perfect entry. I still can't not try and get it. So what I'm looking at to take profit, I think I've got a different value to you. I think I went right from the bottom.
You want to go for the 19,500?
No, sorry. I'm just putting the fib on. So I was looking at the fib right from the bottom, though, to the top, on the 17,000. It was somewhere around there. The 0.5 at 20,330.
Sorry, I put it the other way around. So you think this is? Do you know what? This might be. I was thinking about that. This might be a zigzag wave up. That's what you're thinking, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I try. Do you know what? I
in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I think so. This is the highest high.
Yep.
From here, okay. And which one did you go for? The levels?
So I sort of thought that maybe we might get down to the 20,300. So that's why I set my initial take profit, but I think I was a little bit too optimistic there, potentially. So I might need to revisit that now you've done the session.
There's a level. Do you know what? Like, there's a midline here. There is a support and resistance line here that goes across this channel at 20,600. If you want to take your profit earlier, I would set it there just to be halfway, between.
Yep.
It might meet some resistance there. Personally, I'm gonna take it before there, because I'm happy with that. But you can, I wouldn't. Now then again, I can see why you said 20,300, because it's slightly lower. It's right about here.
Yeah.
So that would make sense as well. But Lee, the difference is too small. And again, we have to leave 30%. You know, I call, you know, it's like we can't take everything. So
No, I get it.
I would say yeah. If you wanna get a little bit more, 20,600.
I think what I've usually done is use like the local swing low, swing high, and then gone for the 0.5 at that level, which I think in that case would have been 20,700. But I thought, I think there's a bit more in it. It might come down a little bit further than 20,700, but that's what I thought originally.
I agree with you. Yeah, like I totally agree with you. Like I see it where it's coming from, and I'm like, no way, this is gonna stop at 20,800. No way. But then I look at what it has for support. So it has the 20,400. The 20 MA on the daily is 20,400. So if it breaks that, we're coming down to 20,100, or even the bottom of the Bollinger here at 19,000. Like, again, not necessarily tomorrow, but that's where it's going. There will be resistance at 20,400, and my question is, sorry, there might be resistance, because I don't know if there will for sure be resistance. But my question is, are you willing to wait for that? Because there might be some retraces.
Yeah. So I think from my perspective, I've always been too greedy in the past and then completely missed out. So, you know, that I want all of that to happen anymore. You know, so I will definitely take profit, and I won't go forward.
I would do the same.
I looked at 20,300, and I've looked at 20,000, sort of 800-ish. So I'll probably go with the more conservative approach.
Yes, even 600. Like initially, I kept on looking today between the 20,600 and the 20,800. And if I look on the traders reality, the not the XRP one, this one. So from M5 it goes to M3, from M3 to M1. M1 is 20,200. So if it loses M3, it has a tendency to go to M1. But then between here around M3, there's a lot of support, just like the 20 on the daily. So I said I don't want it to be stopped by the M2 and the daily open and the low average daily range and all of that, because it will need strength to get through all of these. So going for 20,800 was my more probable target, and I said I'll take that, because it's a great profit to make from 22,000 to 2,800. It's I think 60%, 67. But I think after all the fees are paid, it's about 60%. So I think it's worth it.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. We'll see where it is tomorrow anyways, you know. we'll see where it is tomorrow. Anyways, like this might have the levels change day by day, and you know the psychological high and the psychological low remain the same, but the levels will be different. So we'll see where we are, and the MAs will be different. So again, I like the pace of this spill. It's nice and slow, and it's retracing. So let's see. Let's hope it's not retracing too much, because I see it back in the channel. I'm like, come down. You do not belong there. But the 20 is ignoring it at the moment on the 15, so we're still on track. And the RSI here on the 15 is starting to come down. Anyways, if there are no questions, I'll move on to Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum, look at this. Look at this. Ethereum is still holding strong. I'm like, what is going on? It doesn't want to catch a breather, and I have seen Ethereum go on such runs. Ethereum hasn't broken below the 20 on the 1 hour yet. Now it's met its target. It's met its target of I had a target here for this wedge, the conservative one, 1487. The less conservative one, 1600. So if I were Neil right now, I would be sweating it out, because I'm like, if this is not a head and shoulders full reversal, what is this going to do? Is it going to come up for this target? Again, the 1 hour looks exhausted. Let me see. There is a head and shoulders in the RSI, which is good. It acts as a bearish divergence, because price kept coming up, but here RSI is bigger than here, so we've sort of like topped out in momentum here. This is just a little bit of the leftover energy. Ethereum has serious pump holding energy. It is still moving in the channel. It's still in the channel. It hasn't broken out of the channel upwards or downwards. The stochastic RSI on the 1 hour, it has made its recovery. Let me just have a look at the vectors here and see what it's been doing. Ah, we have the start of Sydney. Yes, okay. Sydney has started, I think. I don't see any name here, but I think by the time. Okay, so to me this is a peak formation. Again, we had Sydney, Hong Kong, London, and New York put three tops. We've had three tops here. We are way below M5. We've reached the target, the technical target of 15,133. We should be coming down, and this might be a reversal diamond in formation, but it might take a while for this to start coming down. There, this would be my best creation. So this would be a reversal diamond. I think the market will move together. I don't think that Bitcoin is gonna come down from this wedge and start spilling, and Ethereum will stay at the top. I don't think that will happen. Personally, I have never seen it work like that. Yes, I have seen the market go up 2, 3, 4% while Ethereum goes on a massive run. I have seen it do that, yeah. I got caught in that while I was trading it, and it taught me a very important lesson that I completely ignored this weekend. Do not trade down when you're above the 20 on the daily. But I thought I knew better. So to me, it was a a totally manipulated move. What happened, it was within the levels, though I can't say that the TA is not there, but again, it looks like we've done. So this was the first level, second level, third level, peak formation. I think we're done with the swing. I think this swing needs a correction. Everybody's saying this swing needs a correction. The MAs are going strong though. The MAs are pushing for a lift. So the 5 MA on the daily is coming up to cross the 50, which would be a great bullish momentum. And now I want you to notice the different setup of the channel that Ethereum is in. So it had, with this swing, broken above the midline of the channel, and I think now it might be coming up to the top line of the channel, or even this level 1750. Again, it will move with the market. I don't see how Ethereum is gonna pump up while Bitcoin and XRP and other coins will come down. I don't see how that will happen. I think it's in a bit of a special situation at the moment. So keeping that in mind, I'm looking at it on the 4-hour arc, and again, the 1700 would be the level for Mountain Peak, Great Mountain Peak, and then coming down for third drop. We will, again, I am following the structures that it's moving in for the steps that will take, that Ethereum will take to get there. So at the moment we have this ascending channel. In order to get to where it needs to be, it needs to break out of this ascending channel. So I will follow the upward scenario first, because obviously we are we are above the 20 on the daily, and Ethereum is not looking like it wants to come down. But I will follow both sides of the trade. Personally, I think it's going to come down and reverse, but in case it breaks out and continues to pump up, and it does the opposite, let's say, because the market always manages to surprise you. In case it does the opposite, the next level to trade would be the 16,000, and the next level to trade would be the 1600, 1650, then the next level 1800. So these would be two targets upwards. I don't see how this is going to be sustainable without the 1-hour RSI. I know that the stochastic is rehabilitating, but I don't see how this is gonna be sustainable. That's just how I see things at the moment. But these would be the two. These would be the two. The two levels up that I see. And again, that would be a higher mountain peak. So we wouldn't have completed mountain peak. If we do that, we're still en route to complete it, which would be somewhere around here. The breakout of this 1-hour arc would be mountain peak on the 4-hour arc. Now, coming downwards, we haven't made any correction. So far, like I know I'm telling you about going upwards because the MAs keep showing pump mode, but we still need to correct. So if I were trading Ethereum this morning, my choice would have been a short, and the short would be first to the bottom of the channel, but of course that's too narrow a channel to take profit. I would stay in and actually go for a 0.5 correction down to the 1270 to be more conservative and more precise, to the 1270 level. So this would be my target to take profit. Where I take profit at 20,800 for Bitcoin, I would take profit at 1270 for Ethereum. And if I calculate, I'm pretty sure this is very much in line with the, there you go. This is it. The target of the channel. Now, if it breaks this, the next target would be the midline, the 786 at 1100. Do you know what? I'm gonna keep all of these tags because I always need more, but I'm just clone. Okay, here. So the midline 1100, and again, to be more precise, 1150, which is the 702 rather than the 786. Sometimes it's better to go for the 702. It's more frequently reached than the 786. Sometimes it, you know, again, if there is more lift energy, it might stop short of the 786. So these would be the two trades down. If it breaks this one, then the next level down is, of course, the bottom of this swing, which is the 1020. There. So these would be the levels. These would be the levels up and down. From I'll show you mathematically why I am a little bit doubtful. We've been going up in a swing 51% from the 14th. So for 4 days, 5 days today, 5 days, 50%. Exceptionally much. That's everything up to here. The 1250 was in line with what was happening in the market until massive pump comes in. That to me is very suspicious. Fast move is fake move. That's what I've seen, that's what I know, that's what's been tested, that's what I've been taught. So this to me is very suspicious. I am squinting my eyes, looking at this swing, going, what is it? I fail to see how this can go up another 16% without a retrace. We've done a 50% lift without a decent correction. So I'll just again to show you some numbers, because everything starts gaining perspective when we look at numbers. I'll take each of these swings. So this had a 0.5 correction. This one had a 0.382 correction. This one had a 0.382 correction. And the sarcasm in my voice is there for a reason. And this one, 0.382. So we had 4 steps up. 4 steps up with 0.382. It's very little. It is very little in terms of the average correction of these. None of them was strong enough for me to have this momentum justified. On the 1 hour RSI, I see one level up, second level up, third level and peak formation here, and then resetting. Of course, we will need to see, as with Bitcoin, we will need to see it losing support. I know this can be frustrating. I was in two shorts last weekend, XRP and Bitcoin, which both did a similar thing. And XRP came to my entry point a lot sooner than Bitcoin. This is what Ethereum is doing right now. Bitcoin and XRP are moving downwards into their corrections, while this one, while itself is lagging behind. So, to me, it just baffles me. How can we have a 51% lift with an average 382 correction? It's too small. We need to have a deeper correction. We need to have a deeper correction for the RSIs to reset. The 4 hour has crossed down on the stochastic, so the move down has started. Let's hope it continues. I really hope. I know I'm a little bit superstitious, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel things happen when I do certain things. Might just be, odd. But every time I draw a diamond, it starts reversing for some reason. So I hope this drawing of a diamond helps the reversal. But yeah, we have a reversal vector structure here on the 1 hour. On the 4 hour as well, like we have the blue vector, which is a stop volume for the up. Then we have the green vector, which generally happens, and then we have the 3 green vectors, 3 lifts to the top. MM's market makers love the 3 hits to the top. 1, 2, 3 lifts. So you can see how this was all market makers. This lift here was market makers. Their last lift is market makers as well, trying to entice the market one last time, and then reversing it. A railway track pattern formation for the down. Railway track pattern formation for the down. We have all of these signals for reversal. Now all we need to do is see reversal happen. That's what needs to happen. I'll go back to the trade setups here. And now, speaking about the limit orders, for instance, going into the weekend, if I were trading Ethereum, I would be putting a limit order here, a little bit below this, with a take profit here. So from here down to here, I know it looks small, but it's 11%. So if we see a downwards motion towards the end of the week, I will put in just a small position. If you're happy with a fifth rather than 2/5 of your position, that's perfect. But again, even if you make an extra, let's say, oh, but I'm only making an extra $10. This is not about you. This is not about you making your livelihood right now. It's about testing and trying out as many strategies. It's about you getting that percentage so that you do that 10x. So that 10x challenge, I guarantee you that at the end of the 10x challenge, you will have tried out a couple of strategies. You will have figured out what works for you, for who you are as a trader, what works for your style, and also you will have been caught in traps, learned how to get out of them, learned how to reset mentally, and then start again. So that's where I am with Ethereum. Do you guys have any questions about this trade setup?
No questions, Mahal. You covered everything for me.
Super, Neil. Fingers crossed, Neil. Fingers crossed. I am so sorry. You're the Ethereum's the last one. Like, look, Bitcoin's already making its way down for another push towards the M3, and I think Ethereum. Let me just check the levels. I think Ethereum is still at M5.
Yeah, I know. I was watching. I'm like, whenever I see the SPX crash and everything else come down, I'm like, it's crashing. Switch to Ethereum and it's just stuck. It's like, come on.
Move. Yes, so true.
Yeah.
So true. Thanks for reminding me. The DXY is making a recovery here, going up, which is great for our shorts, because if the DXY at the moment it's meeting the 20 on the 1 hour, it's making a little bit of a retracement here. Yeah, like it's still holding the 20 on the 15 minute. It's coming up, but I like it to get above the 20 on the 1 hour, and that would be a nice little lift. Now thanks for reminding me of that, because lately I've been watching more the DXY rather than the SPX.
Yeah, I've seen the correlation with that.
Yeah, like it's not it's a little bit tricky with the gaps, because the DXY stops at the weekend, so you don't have that, but it's still a good thing to add to monitor. The 4 hour stochastic has turned up, which is great, because it takes a lot for the 4 hour to turn up. So that would be a good thing to see this one lift, which is the strength of the dollar. And if it gets above the 20 on the 12 hour, that would be fantastic. I think even Ethereum will start coming down at that level. Yes, so let's see what's happening. I think right now, I don't know why this doesn't say, but I think the Sydney market started, and this is their initial lift, and then there will be a correction, hopefully, fingers crossed. So keep monitoring the trades. I don't know about you guys. I know you have babies and it's a hard one. So trading is my baby. I wake up every 2 hours to watch it now, where it is, because it can be very, very tricky. Keep monitoring, considering the lift. Most of the part today was for the lift, and on Bitcoin we have a double top formation. To me, this is a bearish formation. The day looks bearish. Ethereum looks different though. Ethereum looks like it wants to keep going. I'm not sure how it's gonna go on its own. We'll have to see. I'll post the trades in the chats now, and then I'll see you tomorrow for London. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have, again, any doubts about how to manage your positions and anything like that, pop a question in, and maybe we can help. Enjoy your trades, make loads of gains this week, and have a good night.